Hey everyone, ready to level up your knowledge?
Always ready.
Today we're going deep into the world of gaming pedagogy.
Yeah, we're going to be exploring how video games can actually be awesome learning tools.
Our main source today is a chapter by Justin Hodgson,
Oh, yeah, I know that one.
Developing and Extending Gaming Pedagogy, Designing a Course as Game.
Interesting.
The whole chapter is about this fascinating idea. What if we structured a whole college course like World of Warcraft?
Whoa, hold on. Like the actual game.
Yep.
I've always thought that learning and playing games have a lot in common.
You too. What do you think is the connection?
Well, think about it. When we play games, we're constantly problem solving.
Right, and we're strategizing and mastering a whole new set of rules and language.
Exactly. That's learning in action.
I never thought of it like that.
And gaming pedagogy is all about taking that power that games have.
That power to get us hooked.
Yeah, and using it to create engaging and effective learning experiences.
And Hodgson took that concept to a whole new level with his World of Warcraft-inspired course.
He did, he really did.
Instead of a traditional syllabus, he created these things called quest lines.
Oh, yeah.
Or QLs. Imagine, your whole coursework laid out like a quest log in a game.
So cool.
So instead of just reading chapters and taking tests.
You're completing quests to level up your knowledge.
Exactly.
So in Hodgson's class, each QL focused on a different area of rhetoric.
Rhetoric, like the art of persuasion.
That's the one. Visual rhetoric, research, all sorts of things.
So it wasn't just focused on one narrow topic.
Note. Students had tons of choices. They could pick which QLs they wanted to pursue.
I like that. It gives students a sense of ownership over their learning.
Absolutely. It's not just about memorizing facts and figures anymore.
It's about actually participating, choosing your path, and working towards a goal.
Just like you would in a game.
So it's like bringing that feeling of playing a game into the classroom.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And another cool thing is just in a lot of online games.
Like World of Warcraft.
Yeah. Collaboration was a key element of the course.
So students had to work together.
They did. They had to team up, share knowledge, and help each other progress through the QLs.
Now, that's a skill that translates to so many things outside of school.
For sure.
Teamwork and collaboration are essential for pretty much every job out there.
Oh, yeah, and in life in general.
Exactly.
Hodgson's approach really challenges how we usually think about learning,
Yeah, like the whole sitting alone in the library, memorizing textbooks thing.
Exactly. He's saying, what if learning felt more like a multiplayer game, where we work together to achieve a common goal?
I really like that idea. It's so much more dynamic and, honestly, way more fun.
Definitely.
But he didn't completely ditch competition, though, right?
Right. He actually had a competitive grading system based on experience points.
Whoa, hold on. Experience points.
Yeah.
Like XP in a game.
You got it.
So how did that work? Did students like it?
Well, that's a great question, and something Hodgson really thought about, too.
Yeah, I bet some students loved it.
Oh, for sure. For some, it was probably a fun and engaging way to see their progress.
Yeah,
But for others, it might have felt like a lot of pressure.
I can see that. Not everyone thrives on competition.
Exactly. And, it's interesting to think about how different people respond to competition in a learning environment.
It really is. It's all about striking a balance between pushing students and supporting them.
Definitely. And here's the thing. Even with this whole super unconventional approach,
The quests and experience points and all that.
Yep. Hodgson found that his students actually developed a much deeper understanding of the material compared to his previous classes.
Really? So it wasn't just about having fun. They were actually learning this stuff.
They totally were.
Yeah.
So now let's get into some specific examples of how Hodgson actually made this World of Warcraft-inspired course a reality.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. One of the really cool things about Hodgson's course is how he took all these complex concepts from World of Warcraft and translated them into real-world learning activities.
I get that, yeah. Yeah.
So remember those quest lines we were talking about earlier?
Oh, yeah, the QLs.
The QLs.
Yeah.
Each QL had a whole bunch of specific quests that students could pick from.
So it's not just learn about visual rhetoric. It's more like design a World of Warcraft character trading card.
That's a way better assignment.
Using the principles of visual rhetoric.
Right. That's awesome.
It makes learning so much more hands-on.
I like that.
Yeah.
And
And there was a ton of variety in the types of quests that students could choose from.
so there's options for everyone?
Yeah, there was this one called the Image QL.
The image QL.
Yeah.
What's that?
In the Image QL, students could make those trading cards we were just talking about.
Okay.
They could design visuals to represent different, like, gaming concepts.
Oh, cool.
Or they could even make these things called interactive images.
Hold on. Interactive images. Yeah. Have you heard of those?
I don't think so. What are those?
So basically imagine like an image that's not just static,
Okay.
but it actually tells a story.
Hmm.
Or it conveys information in like a more dynamic way.
Interesting.
Like maybe if you click on different parts of the image,
Yeah.
it'll like reveal these hidden layers of meaning.
Right.
Or the image itself could like change.
Transform.
Yeah, transform based on how you interact with it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's a really cool way to like explore complex ideas, but in a visual way,
I like it.
you know?
Yeah. It's a much more creative approach than just like a regular old essay.
For sure.
Okay, so we've got the Image QL. What other kinds of quest lines were there?
Well, there was also this one called the Video QL,
Video QL.
where students could make videos.
Oh, cool. So they get to be like filmmakers.
Yeah. They could make character videos.
Like little movies about their characters.
Yeah, kind of like those like epic highlight reels that you see online for gamers.
I've seen those.
They could even produce something called machinima.
Oh, machinima.
Yeah, have you ever heard of that?
I've heard the term, but I don't really know what it means.
So machinima is basically where you use game footage.
Footage from the game.
Yeah,
Right.
to create like original films.
Whoa, so they're making movies inside the game.
Yeah, pretty
That's-
cool, right?
That's awesome.
They're using the game's characters
Oh, wow.
and environments and even like the game's physics engine as like the building blocks for their own storytelling.
So they don't have to build everything from scratch. They
Yeah.
can just use what's already in the game.
And that's like rhetorically,
Yeah.
that's super fascinating to think about.
How so?
Well, because players are like repurposing and reinterpreting these existing elements of the
Yeah.
game to like make something totally new.
Oh, I get it.
You know?
Yeah, it's like they're writing fan fiction,
Yes,
but they're making it into like an actual visual thing.
exactly.
That's really cool.
It's really blurring the lines between like playing and creating and
Oh,
communicating,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So we've got images, we've got video. What else could we possibly have?
Oh.
Well, Hodgson also wanted to make sure that students were learning
Yeah.
those traditional communication skills.
Makes sense.
So he included a presentation QL.
A presentation QL.
Yeah, so in this one, students had to give presentations.
Oh, okay.
You know, practice those public speaking skills.
Like in front of the class.
They could give presentations on like current trends in gaming,
Oh, yeah.
or they could even like collaboratively lead discussions in the class.
Interesting. Yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
they're still getting those classic learning experiences.
Exactly.
It's not just about replacing everything with games.
Right.
It's more about finding that balance
Uh-huh.
and using games to make learning more engaging,
Yeah, and more effective.
for sure. Now I'm kind of curious about this character QL.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned it before.
The character QL.
It sounds like it's more than just like choosing your character's class and all that.
Oh, yeah, this one is really cool.
What'd they do?
So in the character QL, students had to really dive deep into their character,
Okay.
like their character's backstory,
Oh, wow.
their motivations, their relationships with other characters.
So it's like they're really building a whole persona?
Yeah.
That's
So they could write like really detailed character bios.
like a whole biography of their character.
Yeah, they could create quests.
But quests for other players.
for other players to complete in the game.
Whoa.
Or they could even like collaborate on those machinima projects
That we talked about earlier.
that we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
but like centered around a specific narrative.
Oh, that's a really interesting approach.
It is, right?
It's like creative writing,
Uh-huh.
but on a whole other level.
And it really encourages students to think about empathy
yeah,
and perspective taking.
because you have to get into your character's head
You have to get into their head
to make a good story.
to make a good story.
Right, and I think that's a really important takeaway from all of this.
What is it?
Gaming pedagogy, it's not just about using games as a gimmick.
Right.
It's about tapping into the unique ways that games engage our minds.
Hmm.
You know, encourage problem solving, encourage collaboration.
All that good stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, we have to remember that this was still a college course.
Right. It's not all fun and games.
And Hodgson wanted to make sure students were developing strong research skills too.
Research is important.
So he had this thing called the research QL.
Another QL, the research QL.
The research QL.
Okay, what do they do in that one?
So this is where like some of those traditional academic elements came in.
Okay.
Students could write research proposals.
Okay,
They could write long research papers. They could even explore like getting their work published in academic journals.
Whoa. So they're like real researchers.
Yeah. So they're not just playing games, they're analyzing them.
Yeah.
They're researching them. They're contributing to a broader understanding of how games and learning connect.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is, right?
How like fun and serious academic work can actually go together.
They can. That's what's so exciting about gaming pedagogy.
It breaks down those barriers.
Breaks down those barriers.
Shows that learning can be rigorous, but also engaging.
Absolutely.
I like that.
So now, I know we talked earlier about some potential downsides of like the competitive grading system.
Did Hodgson notice anything else?
He did.
That was like a challenge.
That was a challenge.
Yeah. Or maybe like an unexpected outcome.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that I thought was really interesting.
What was it?
He saw that students were often collaborating in ways that he hadn't even planned for.
Like going above and beyond what he expected.
Yeah. So for example, they might work together on a group project.
Okay.
And then use that same project as like a starting point.
Oh.
For their own individual assignments.
So they're using teamwork to get ahead in the game.
And that's super interesting.
It is. It shows that when you create this like dynamic, open-ended learning environment, students will find ways to like work the system in a good way.
They're always one step ahead, you know?
It's like that saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Right.
But in this case, it's more like you can design a course like a game, but you can't predict exactly how students will play it.
That is such a good way to put it.
Haha.
And that like element of surprise, you know, that emergent learning that happens when students really take charge. That's what makes gaming pedagogy so promising.
So cool.
It's about giving students the tools and the freedom to learn
Yeah.
in a way that's like authentic to them.
Right. It feels real.
It feels real and engaging.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
And it seems like Hodgson's students weren't just passively absorbing information.
They were actually making their own learning experience.
They were.
I wonder what they thought about the whole thing.
I know.
Did he get any feedback from the students?
Yeah, he did. He did. He actually found that his students were like super positive about the whole experience.
Really?
They said that the whole game-like structure
Uh-huh.
really made learning more engaging.
That makes sense.
And it actually helped them understand the material better.
Like on a deeper level.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it seems like gaming pedagogy could be a pretty powerful tool.
It can be.
But I'm curious, was there anything that didn't work so well?
Well, it wasn't all perfect, you know?
Right?
I mean, while most students did great, Hodgson did say that not everyone loved the competitive grading system.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that before.
Yeah, for some students, it probably added a lot of unnecessary pressure.
I could see that.
But then for others, it was like this exciting challenge.
Yeah, it probably depends on the person.
Right.
Yeah, some people love competition. Others, not so much.
It's like in real life, you know, everyone learns differently. Everyone has their own preferences. So I think it's a good reminder that there's no one right way to teach.
Yeah, no magic formula.
No magic formula.
And Hodgson actually talks about that in the chapter too.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah. He encourages other teachers
To try it out.
Yeah, to experiment, try different game models,
See what works.
see what works, find what works best for their students.
That makes sense.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's not about just copying exactly what Hodgson did.
Right.
It's more about using his work as like a starting point.
Inspiration.
Yeah, inspiration for innovation.
I like that.
Finding those game mechanics
Uh-huh.
and design principles that really click with your own teaching style.
Yeah. And your students' needs.
Exactly. It's about having that growth mindset.
Growth mindset. I like that.
Being willing to step outside of the box, explore the potential of games to make learning more effective.
And more fun.
And more fun for everyone.
I love it.
It's not about turning every classroom into an arcade, you know.
Right. It's not about that.
It's about understanding how powerful games are
Yeah.
at tapping into our natural desire to learn,
Uh-huh.
to explore,
And to win.
and to win. Haha, exactly.
So, as we wrap up our deep dive today, I want to leave you with this thought. How can you bring some of these ideas into your own life?
Ooh, good question.
Think about it. It doesn't have to be about school or work, you know?
Right.
Could you create a quest line for yourself?
Like a personal challenge.
Yeah, to achieve a goal. Or maybe set up some rewards to keep yourself motivated.
Ooh, I like that.
Right. It's like turning everyday life into a game.
Aha, exactly.
It's a great way to make things more fun and engaging.
And who knows, you might even learn something new along the way.
You definitely will.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into gaming pedagogy.
It's been a blast.
We hope you got some new ideas and maybe even a fresh perspective on learning.
We'll see you next time. And until then, keep playing.
Keep learning.
And keep exploring those amazing connections between games and learning.